Hello, everyone. Welcome to our book club. We are talking about coffee self talk, and I am Shannon Golladay. This is week number 2 in our second round of our coffee self talk. So, if you were in our first round, then you've already heard some of this stuff. But, like I say, I think it's always great to do something again. The more we do things, the more that they become and in our minds and our hearts, and we can connect with them and truly make a change. So I always think it's good to read a book, several times so that we can get the message of it. So last week we gave a challenge, the 24-hour challenge. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I'd love to say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So if you're watching this live or watching the replay, go ahead and say hello in the comments. Say where you're tuning in from. I am here live in Utah. And yeah, school is back in session. We just started on Monday. So, I know a lot of you, you're getting your kids back to school, you're getting back into a new routine, grandkids back in school. Post in the comments. I'm pointing over here because the box is over here on my screen. But I'd love to hear if you have new, kids going back to school, or you started a new job, or you're just getting into a new rhythm of a new routine. Um, I love this time of year because it is kind of like a new year. So we have January for our new year, and then also right now here in August, with the back to school time, new beginning. So it's really fun. So welcome today. So the last time we talked about chapters 1 through 3. And so that was the first quarter of the book. I'm kind of breaking this into 4 sections. And so this next section is page 56 to 116. So I'll go through those things. So if you have your books, you can pull them out. We're starting at chapter 4, and it talks about the science behind the magic of self talk. So, oh, sorry, getting messages here. Okay. So, learning a new skill. So, human brains are neuroplastic, which simply means they can change in drastic ways no matter how old you are. It's how we learn new skills like playing the piano or archery or new language, or in my case, writing fiction. So we can learn new skills. Sometimes we think that we're too old. Raise your hand if you're like, I'm too old to learn something new. I'm too old to change my ways. And it may take longer, especially if we are more set in a certain mindset or in certain habits. It may take longer, it may be more challenging, but it is possible to rewire our minds. So going back to the 24-hour challenge. So the 24-hour challenge was to notice our thoughts for 24 hours. And I don't know about you, but like, this is easier said than done, right? So we can say, okay, I'm going to, be positive for 24 hours. I'm going to change my mindset. And then let's say someone says something to you, or something happens, like your car breaks down, or, it's so easy to automatically go into the negative. This is something I constantly struggle with is, you can have this positive mindset for a few minutes, and then something happens, something external, something out of our control, someone says something, someone does something, and then we can automatically turn to the negative. So thinking about that 24 hours, and if you didn't have a chance to do it, I challenge you again, take 24 hours to evaluate your thoughts. So we think of our goal, what we want most, and then we think of our thoughts are matching our goal. So, just also thinking about like where you are now in your life. So if you pause time, where are you at in your life? Are you where you are? Are you at, like physically? Are you at your goal weight? Are you financially where you want to be? Do you live in the place where you want to live? Like, is your life exactly the way you want it to be? If no, that's me. I have a lot of improvement, a lot of things I want to change in my life. Um, and so thinking of, are my thoughts in alignment with where I want to go? Because our thoughts create our reality. And we talked about this before. So thinking of, if our thoughts are creating our reality, is the reality what you want it to be? And if it's not, I talk to so many people that are pretty much the same. Like, no matter when I talk to them, they're still the same. They're still working on, losing weight, or they're still working on getting out of debt, or they're still working on feeling, less stressed, or they're always busy. They're super overwhelmed. Um, and this is kind of where I was at last year, where I went into this super busy, super overwhelmed state where I was doing all of these things because I was busy, but I was way out of alignment with what I wanted in my life, and it just created so much stress and so much overwhelm. And so, for the past several months, after May, just kind of evaluated my time, like, and taking things off of my plate. Like, is this in alignment with what I want to do, who I want to be? Yes or no? Take it off, take it off, take it off. So, just evaluating that. Okay, so, um, talking about pruning, like, so she talked about this, so in other words, so this connections in your brain literally atrophy from disuse, just like muscles. So you use it or you lose it. And so, in other words, the more good things you say and think, the more your brain changes to support those things while getting rid of the old, unused connections. So, this is like pruning, just like what I talked about. Like, just notice in your life, like, are you feeling peace? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling, in control of your habits and what you're doing? If you're not, you gotta prune. You gotta take off things off your plate. And we get what we repeat. So, we are what we think, and our reality becomes what we think about. So being very conscious of that. So, we can change everything. We can change our whole world can change just with our thoughts. So when we whatever we are thinking about, good or bad, when we repeat them, they gain momentum and strength. So being careful, like, stop. She says, stop living under a cloak of darkness. If you do, you're wasting your time. Like, if we're constantly thinking, like, I know for me personally, so we moved here from California. We lived in our dream house in California. We loved it. We moved to Utah 4.5 years ago to live by family. And, because of the market, because of different things, mostly because of the housing prices, we haven't been able to buy a home. And it's been so easy for me to say, like, just getting frustrated, like, oh my gosh, we were supposed to be here for 6 months. Now it's been 4.5 years. But I've got to stop living under that cloak of darkness. It's wasting my time. It's not getting me where I want to be. If we're so focused on what we don't have or what's going wrong, we'll get more of that in our life. So our beliefs can heal us mentally and physically. And she said, on page 64, it's really amazing how quickly change can happen. As so the mind is everything. Buddha says the mind is everything. What you think, you become. So, chapter 4 summary, it talks about when you do something repeatedly, including saying self talk, you train your brain. Repeated words, thoughts, and suggestions leave an imprint on you by building new neutral pathways. Um, so, building new or neural pathways by repeating your self talk every day gives you a new brain, a new you, and a new life. Each time you repeat your great self talk, it's an emotional impact increases. These powerful feelings help you attain your goals faster. Repetition is powerful. And I'm saying, this is going to be a challenge, like, especially if you're constantly used to looking at the negative. And it's not that we discount the negative. Of course, we have hard things, we have challenges, but we don't give it power. We don't give it energy. So thinking of, what you want to be. So on page 65, you can write down positive affirmations. So some that I want to have: I am confident, I am calm, I am kind, I'm healthy and strong, I'm fueling my body with healthy foods, I'm speaking to myself kindly, I'm focusing forward, becoming better, all of those things. Okay, so I'd love to hear from you. Like, what are some of your takeaways so far? Like, when you think about evaluating your thoughts for 24 hours, like what things come up? Do you think of um, more negative things? Like, so is your reality like where you want to be? And check your thoughts. Are your thoughts helping you get to where you want to go? Okay. So chapter 5 talks about we have the potential and authority to change our beliefs. It's all about the thoughts you think about yourself and the world. Reprogram your brain for the best, and you'll reap the rewards. Now is the time. Okay, so rule number one is write in first person. So, like saying, I feel generous, and I am writing in that first person. Also, write in present tense, like it's happening right now. So, we are attracting whatever we want in our life. Um, so get your magic wand ready. And I would love to hear in the comments, what your magic wand would create for you. Do you want a better job? Do you want to find love? Do you wish you had more confidence? Do you want to heal from a disease or injury? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to like exercise? Do you want to start a good habit? Do you wish you were funnier, wealthier, happier? What are some things that you want? A lot of times we focus so much on what we don't want that we forget what we want. I know I've been at places like this in my life where I'm like, I worked with this coach once and she asked me, what was I grateful for and what were my successes? And I was having a really hard time thinking of anything. And so it really takes intentional practice to find the gratitude, find the successes. So I loved this part on page 70. It says, when a bad thought comes by, you just say, thanks for stopping by, thought, and then keep going. Just keep going. Don't let them stick. Don't let them stay. So at the beginning, you might feel silly about this. It might feel awkward, like you're just feeling silly, like these thoughts are coming in and you're talking to yourself. But the more you think about the amazing life you're living, the more ideas will come to you and you'll have more abundance. So you do this every single day. So writing 15 easy and powerful talk statements. Um, and also, using words like awesome, amazing, incredible, that you love your life, you love yourself, opportunities everywhere you go. And at the beginning, it's hard to believe these things. I know I've struggled to um, believe some words that I'm saying, but these are the words that I want to have in my life. I want to be these things, and so it may be a challenge to believe these things, but just take time, and it will. Also, adding the word because for more success. This is something one of my mentors encourages us to do. So, for example, I have no problem making it to the. This is something you could say. I have no problem making it to the gym every scheduled day because I know how great exercise makes me feel. So adding that word because so that you have a reason. Spark happiness with details. So if something doesn't spark joy, get rid of it. That's something that I've been doing. You can look behind me. I don't know, you can't really see all the mess behind me. Um, Getting rid of things, the best thing we can do is just if things don't spark joy, things don't spark happiness, like declutter our space where we live, declutter people, maybe people in your life, like they're not helping you where get to where you want to go. You want to surround yourself with people that you want to become, that you want to be like. And so um here's a quote on page 80. It says, my life has an abundance of time to do everything I want. I have abundant, juicy health. I'm full of vitality and energy, and I bounce out of bed every morning. I have an abundance of wealth, and opportunities are all around me for making boatloads of money. How awesome is that? And Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. So, in summary of this chapter, write your self talk in first person, use the word because to make it more powerful, use words that spark happiness, use a mix of short and punchy affirmations that are longer and some that are more elaborate. Um, okay, so page 82, what areas are you most interested in working on first? So I said, sleep, spiritual habits, and relaxing. Those are three things that I struggle with: sleep, spiritual habits, and relaxing. And, writing your first coffee self talk script by using these questions. Um, and so you can fill out that on page 82. Okay, moving along, chapter 6. So, how to do the coffee self talk. So, you're matching your feelings and thoughts. So, when you're using a word, you've got to feel it. You've got to have that emotion and feel it. And it has to be aligned with words you're saying. If you're saying, someone's like, "How are you?" And you're like, "I'm amazing." Right? No, I'm amazing. I'm incredible. Like, use those emotions to help you feel it. Feel what you're saying in your heart and your gut, like you really mean it. And this can be hard at first, like rewiring our brains, getting our brains into more of abundance, more of a positive um, mode is challenging. So our goal is to feel an elevated emotion when you're saying this. So here's many emotions on page 87, like love, awe, inspiration, joy, bliss, generosity, abundance, limitless, courage, confidence, gratitude, excitement, happiness, and peace. So there's a lot more on page 88 and 89. I highlighted the ones that I thought were good. Bright, calm, centered, clear, delighted, focus, incredible, inspire, happy, relaxed, resilient. So amp up the energy with uplifted feelings to turbocharge your coffee self-talk and manifest your dreams faster. So it's time to acknowledge the strength within you. You have everything you need for to be successful. Someone told us that one time in a group that I'm in. And, it's hard to believe that because sometimes we're looking for the magic secret sauce, right? Um, but it's within us. And a big part of it is how we are thinking. So a lot of people are looking for the how to's of doing something. I've been a health and wellness coach for 11 and a half years, and people ask for, the meal plans and the fitness and the how to's. But the biggest thing that we need is the changing of the way that we're thinking. Ralph Waldo Emerson says a person is what he or she thinks about all day long. So, in summary, adding elevated emotions, see yourself as a person you desire. So, how are you feeling right now? When I wrote this several months ago, when I read this the first time, I said I was feeling anxious, feeling uncertain about where we were going to live. So we actually decided not to buy the house. We were going to buy a house and we decided to stay where we are, but I was feeling uncertain about where to live. So, what are some images that make you emotionally expansive? So, for me, it's nature, the lake, mountains, sunset, sunrises. I love that. What are some things that make you feel joy, love, or awe? Exercise, serving others, hiking, or traveling. Um, so take time to fill out page 90 to 91. Okay, chapter 7 is say the statements with uplifted emotions. We talked a little bit about that and repeating them. So, and then adding the energy. So she says, I have energy and enthusiasm for life. I'm excited. Yeah, baby. Talking about money. Money is easy to get. Money loves me. Money loves me. I give compliments freely. Also, something to think about on money, the topic of money. Do you think when you're tight on money, do you think, oh, we gotta save, we gotta cut costs, or do you think, how can I earn? How can I earn more? What are more opportunities to earn more? Noticing the difference. And I've been in both spaces, right? So, um, whenever I felt like we need to cut costs, we need to save, that's kind of how I was last year. Like we need to cut costs, we need to save, I need to get a job. I got a job as a substitute teacher. Um, and last year wasn't wasn't one of our best years financially. And I think a lot of it is because of my mindset, because I was feeling more like this. Like we don't want to lose it, right? We want to hold on to it. But, when we release that, when we let it go and we say, how can I earn more? What are my opportunities to earn more money? The stress goes down and we can actually earn way more money because we're not in this like scarcity, like holding on tight to it. So if money is a struggle, if you're constantly feeling like you're out of money, then think of how are you thinking about money? Are you thinking on like I need to hold on to it? I can't let go of it. Or are you thinking how can I earn more? How can I serve more and help more people and earn more? There's a big difference. Okay. So going on the next two pages, she just gives ideas of what we can say, like what we want to be. So you think of like what is important to you, what are some goals that you have, who do you want to be? So on page 103, like she talks about wanting to be a writer. And so when you want to become something, then you start acting like that. So even if you're not there yet, you become that. You become who you want to be. And so also on page 104, I love this part. She talks about wimpy thoughts. So do you have wimpy thoughts? She says, the original script, as I typed it here for you, I was for you to read. I was reading it off the gigantic index card it's written on, which sits on my desk. I'll soon. Okay, so anyway, she said, I currently write romance novels and I love writing them, but decided to branch out to other genres. But guess what? Remember, I don't really say the following to myself, but negative programming tried to creep in. So she's saying, okay, I want to write these other kind of books. And so her head says, but Kristen, you know nothing about writing fantasy. How the hell will you create those epic worlds and characters and storylines? So she just starts saying, like, well, who are you? Do you ever do that? Where it's like you have this goal and you're so excited, and then all these negative thoughts, like, well, who are you to do that? Like, how could you do that? And so, but then she's like, no, of course I can do this. Of course I can do this. So, getting rid of wimpy thoughts. Do you have wimpy thoughts that are holding you back? Every time you set a goal and you're super excited and you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then you constantly have those wimpy thoughts that are turning the other way. We've talked about this before. If you have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brakes, one foot on the gas saying, yes, I want this in my life, and one foot on the brakes with your mental thoughts stopping you, you won't go anywhere. We'll just stay stuck. Okay, so page 105 is, did any of the lines in your self-talk, her self-talk, resonate with you? So for me, I approve of myself. Money is easy to get. Money loves me. I want to improve on these. And I feel like I have actually improved on these since I wrote this. This was from the first round. And so thinking of, who do you want to be? Are your thoughts matching with who you want to be? Okay. So on chapter 8, that's the last part we'll go over. She talks about using, images. So like here's my, dream board with images of what I want to have in my life. Um, having bold underlying emojis, all of those things, saying out loud, putting it natural sunlight, reading it out loud, believing in it, adding energy, doing the power pose, putting hands on the hips, adding music to it. An app I love is the Think Up app. One of my mentors suggested that, and I've been listening to it. Is so you write your affirmations and then you speak those affirmations and you can put music to them and you can listen to that. So I struggle in the morning to, like I was looking at the news or I was looking at something negative and it wasn't helping me get to where I want to go. So first thing in the morning, have your water, have your goals ready, push play, put your earbuds in or just listen to them on your phone and speak where you're going, focusing forward instead of going backwards. So also chapter or page 117. Actually, we're past the part where we were just going to go to 116, but I'm excited. So stay tuned for next week. We will talk about the Millionaire Minute. It's on page 117. So we will stop there for now. But I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this book so far and even going through this book again for the second time. Just noticing there Like for me, I love doing this again, and even if I did it again, like, if things haven't changed, if things haven't aren't where you want to go, then we just need to keep working on it. Just like, creating any new habit, it takes time. It takes time to practice it. And it takes time to continue to improve it. And each day you might, feel like, oh man, like this is hard again. And you just get back up and you keep going and you keep remembering, like, here's my vision board. Keep remembering where you are going, what your goals are. So we've talked about this, what are your goals physically, financially, socially, in your life? Like, what goals do you want to have? And that will propel you forward even when it gets hard, even when you're struggling. You will be able to keep going forward because your reason why you're doing it is so compelling and so strong that will keep you going forward. So I'm excited to hear from you. When you catch the replay, I would love to hear from you. Post in the comments. It makes me excited to do these videos when I see your comments and when I'm hearing how it's helping you in your life. So stay tuned. We are halfway through the book for the second time. We'll read section 3. So the next third of the next quarter of the book we will read, and we will be back again next week. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.